Hello everyone, and welcome back. We are back with more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last time we found out that the victim in the SL9 incident that got the death sentence for Joe Dark was actually killed by Emma on accident. So, and that was where we ended last time. So now we gotta see where that goes from there. I still feel like there's some other part of the story we're not seeing here, that we're still missing something here. So let's find out, and hopefully we will finish this today. I was told by Ashi that I should, so here goes. February 25th, 12:06, District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Humph, don't worry about it. This is my problem, not you. Not anything else. You kinda are, but okay. I am. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law from Miss Sky explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Evidence law securely slipped into pocket. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. Wait, what? That's where you're wrong, Detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why am I still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility has been all but ruined with this forged evidence you're unaware of. Emma Scott found out she unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. February 25th, 12:52, District Court, Courtroom Number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The inquiry committee has planned to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that! It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all for the witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright. You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls... Oh crap! I actually have to pick?! The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Oh, okay. Well, that's freaking obvious at this point.
Take that!
Yeah, sure. Welcome to the stream, Ashi. How you doing tonight? I did get your title in, like you asked. Demon Gaunt. The defense calls Demon Gaunt to the stand. Demon Gaunt? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gaunt has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. Good girl, okay. Probably fitting, since if we finish this case tonight, which you say we will, this will probably be the last... Except you didn't call Gumshoe. Yeah, because I don't want to get any penalties. Or at least as few as possible. Anyway, as I was saying, if we finish this tonight, which you claim we will, this will probably be the last night I play Phoenix Wright for a bit. The reason for that being is Persona 5 Strikers comes out next Tuesday. And it would be best to not get caught in the middle of a case in this game before that day. And I'd already planned to play a different game tomorrow anyway. I'm going to be playing Caravan Stories tomorrow. So that would really only leave Monday. Anyway, as luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Gaunt to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Too bad. Your name and occupation, sir. Werther, are you sure you want to do this? I sure am damn sure. Let's get this over with. Stop pussyfooting around. Your name and occupation! Thank you, Miles. So, you want to play hardball, eh? But please, Mr. Gaunt. Fine. My name is Damon Gaunt. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gaunt, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Law and the System murdered that prosecutor? Son of a bitch. Personally, I think it's been pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Yeah, surprisingly, he didn't ask that. Guess he knows we're not playing around now. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You're all aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Do I even have to say what I think of this guy by this point? Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. Nope. That is not what I think of him at all. Though I'd probably be willing to ask him for at least $50 just out of spite. SL9 incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lorna there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Are you Was that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Amber said Neil flying, it seems Doc bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Doc and made him run away like that. Was the defendant, Lana Skye, also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she was there when Doc ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Doc made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. I have a problem with this. Assuming he was saying what I think he was. Or implying. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Yeah. Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though. Wait a minute. That's not funny. Hold up a minute, I need to read this part again. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. Oh, okay, I see what he's saying now. Never mind. What's he Okay, this part isn't making sense to me. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Okay, yeah, okay, I get what he's saying now. Never mind. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. I was about to say, have you ever been in an elevator that just suddenly stopped? Because I have. No, it wasn't. Well, no, first off, no, I haven't. But it wasn't that. That wasn't what I was thinking about. I misinterpreted that. That he was saying him and Neil took the stairs. That's what I misunderstood. But no, they both took separate elevators, is what he was saying. And the one he was in stopped when the power went out. Neil, not sick. He wasn't killed. How was... Right. He's claiming Lana set this up. Dark was already lying... Oh, sorry. Dark was already lying collapsed on the floor? Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Are you sure about that? So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. Removing a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Oh, right. I need to read that one thing. Rules for submitting evidence. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. No evidence shall be... Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Okay. Worthy, always a smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gaunt to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gaunt to the incident. I think I know what evidence to present, just a matter of where to present it. At least I think this is the right one. Wait a minute. Do I show him this or the... Do I show him this or the jar? Because both of these were found in his office. You know what? I'll try this first. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery, but I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented, yeah, that's why I figured I could have shown him either one, really. But the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gaunt, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gaunt, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then? That you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? I do. Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Crap. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. I'll so be glad when we take this guy down. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured Dick will receive his due punishment. Whoa. What?! If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office. and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. Mama, kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Kids, I think the judge is older than you. Anyway. Let's see, what was it now? A jaw fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Doc was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. The judge hasn't figured out how to make his VCR stop blinking 12 o'clock. Oh, I know that. I hear that. I can believe that. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Are you sure about that? Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh, indeed. I believe I'll press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Udja. In return, though. I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys, telepathic? Ugh, gosh, dang it. I'd appreciate it if you stopped making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? I think he just called you a wuss. Yep, I think so too. If you have proof to the contrary, you're gonna need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Rido's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove its investigation was illegal. Never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were... What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery... I'm not through speaking yet, Rido. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. Are you sure about that? For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Doc was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Rido. Think about it. There's no reason I'd participate, of course. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? Not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Really, Chief Gaunt? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would of course be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Ho ho ho! Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Ah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Werther. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Urge, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. Me, myself, and I, yeah? I don't know. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. Me, myself, and Ayanami. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Ho ho ho! Oh, that's a good one, Werther. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone else? His accomplice, let me think. Point out accomplice. I assume this is what I have to do. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. Are you serious right now? That's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gaunt may have helped forge evidence? Okay. Let's see. Who is this person you believe Chief Gaunt may have helped forge evidence? Well, offhand, it had to have been her. That's what I would think.
Take that!
Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. The defendant? Well, it's, alerts that I get on the PlayStation Network. That one in particular was saying that, the Caligula effect was ready to play. It's a game I bought earlier today. Anyway, Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant? And yeah, I do admit it. I can see how it gets annoying to see that so often. But I try not to talk about it on my stream usually. But in this case, I don't mind. I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. That was a good movie. Anyway, who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gaunt, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gaunt. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Someone retire this guy, please. Ugh. Oh, wait! I'm sorry, I'll continue in a bit. Okay. Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Yeah! Admit it, Chief! You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as chief prosecutor so you can control her. Right, oh my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I control Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gaunt. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless... that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Or which one would that be? Moving on! Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Werther, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gaunt is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap for to cover up his involvement. What? Order! 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 I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious! Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. Yeah, pretty much. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's... impossible! Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. And it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gaunt to the murder of Detective Goodman. Yeah, high-ranking means they're pristine like officers of the court, such as certain Von Karma. Exactly! Exactly. Okay, let's see here. Something that ties him to this case. That proves he killed Detective Goodman. Can only be submitted to the chief of police. Evidence from past cases of interest factors. Yeah, still nothing there. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gaunt to the murder of Detective Goodman. Found in Chief Gaunt's safe, evidence. Emma Sky's prints. No, I don't think it's that. And as I said, all of this is related to a different crime, not this one. Found on the bloody handprint on Marshall's own locker, the print had been wiped. Okay, but no, that says they're Marshall's fingerprints, so never mind. Final fragment found in Chief Gaunt's safe, Emma. Dinner time, will be back shortly. Okay. See you in a bit. When disarmed Detective's prints can unlock it when it's open. Let's see. Scene of the Let me read about this. A half-written document dated 2/21 can only be submitted to the Chief of Police. Here's Goodman ID. I don't know if this is it, but it's all the only thing I can think of. Well, Chief, so long as Ryder here is tossing out things regardless of the relevance, mind if I toss something too, would you? This shoe should do nicely. I'll chuck it right at you. You always were quite the joker, weren't you? Oops, looks like I got it wrong. Don't roast me, maybe this boot to the head will knock some sense into you. I know it's hard with all that's gone on during this trial. But try to think back to what happened in the evidence room 4 days ago. Now that he mentions that we did find something during yesterday's investigation. Something that proves Gaunt entered that room. Wait, really? Looks like he wants another one of your boots, you? I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that... Yeah, okay. Something that... Oh. Do we mean this? Because of... Oh, this is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7 sevens. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gaunt's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gaunt, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime! Ooh, he doesn't look happy now. I think we got him. Order! Order! Chief Gaunt, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations, and I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gaunt, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not! Why would it be? I hadn't seen him in days! You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gaunt. I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman! What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gaunt met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gaunt on the day of the crime. Nope, it was not that, which I figured. I don't know if that's it, but I'm gonna try it. No, there's gotta be something more solid than this. On that day, Detective Goodman had to go see Chief Gaunt. Sorry to interrupt your mumblings, but the court is waiting. Okay. Oops. Why don't you come meet with me tomorrow? Perhaps we can write up your letter of termination. Regardless, you did see Detective Goodman that day. Proof that he went to go. Victim's memo found in the car. Goodman. Oh, maybe it is this. Okay, no, it's not that. Darn it. What is it then? I don't know. Ugh. No, not that. Here goes. Okay, nope, it's not that. Fudge. Yeah, I didn't say it before doing this, so now I'm screwed unless I look up the answer. Because I don't know what it is. Yeah, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to. I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do. I wish I had saved before doing this so I could figure out on my own, but odds are I probably couldn't have anyway. I hope I don't end up feeling dumb after seeing what the answer is. Well, I'm still trying to find the right page, so give me a moment. Yeah, sorry for taking so long. I'm trying to find the right page. Wait a minute. Did I mess something up? Or did I pass something up? Okay, wait a minute. I thought I did. Okay, fine. I thought I already did that though. Or maybe that was earlier. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you're in possession of the report. Which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gaunt. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered that room. The room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. The chief of police murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait! The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Whoa, what the hell? Chief Gaunt, you didn't! The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office's parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take us here dead body over to the prosecutor's office? I don't think so. Chief Gaunt, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was just a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gaunt used this. What? To move the body, he used what now? Record of parking in the 512. Let's see if that's right. Okay, yeah, that was right.
Take that!
This is how I moved Detective Goodman's body. A parking stub? Miles Edgeworth. You mean... The body was found in the trunk of Mr... I had to, okay? I was down to my last shot and I couldn't save. Nope, I'm not taking any punishment. I said I had to. Fine. I'm in the mood for this. I'm not happy about having to do it, okay? I'm sorry, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's see. The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. But yeah, I had to look up. But I only looked up what I had to keep me from having to do all this over. 'Cause I don't know how much you have to repeat once you mess up. Since I never played these games before. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. You mean I carried the victim's body? No promises. I'm gonna try my best not to, but but I can't promise that. I don't know why I have to take any. You'll start this. Well, I don't have a contract, so nice try. Precisely so. But wait, even you know. I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me, why? I was asked to go by Chief Gaunt, no less. Clause 84, yes it is. What? Clause 85 is no, it is not. I don't know what you mean. I don't even know what you're saying now. And gosh dang it, this dude. It's called the generic all-purpose prove them wrong rule. Fine. Anyway. Oh gosh, just a minute. Sorry about that, the phone rang. And Ashi, please tell me I was not the only one ready to take this dude down a peg by this point. If not more. told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. This dude is a real piece of work. So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order! 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 What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gaunt, please, say something! I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the district attorney general after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Werther. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, you think I had long to dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Demond Gaunt is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gaunt murdered Detective... I'm gonna save here. So that maybe I can figure this out on my own for once. Proof that Chief Gaunt murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? Let me look through this. I'm gonna say that I might not yet. There's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor, at present, I have no conclusive evidence. Humph, see, urge you? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Urge, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. What? Lady Luck, maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth, another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gahn has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Humph. Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth.
Take that!
The defendant. Miss Lana Skye? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. Her task, to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on! Huh? Oh. So, okay, if I was Lana, my bad. Chief Gahn, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Oh, this isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then, I've got a lunch date to meet. Oh, gosh dang it, get the hell out of here. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. Oh, gosh dang it. February 25th, 2:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Nalby number 2. I am so ready to be done with this case. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe! I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Oh, don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office! My office? Sure! I'll take the place of that top naughty girl you used to work with. Could he mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gahan's done it again! How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair, he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. But Chief, this is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Ah, risks. What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. The opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Oh. Oh, Emma, okay. Emma, are you okay?
Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved.
Relieved?
Yeah! Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me.
Since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gaunt's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold.
It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey! Don't go blame yourself now! If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal!
Chief Gaunt may be able to fool everyone else with this forgery. But he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here?
No! I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Lana tells the truth.
Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. To be continued in a few minutes. And by that I mean as soon as I save again. Oh boy! This case. Oh boy. Final day trial. Yeah, I think even if Persona 5 Strikers wasn't due out Tuesday, I think I'd be ready to take a break from this game after this. Anyway, February 25th, 2:21 p.m., District Court, Courtroom number 9. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor? Then again, I'd already be taking a break from it. I'd be taking the tomorrow and the whole weekend off from it, so yeah. Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you.
But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth.
Of course. The truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gaunt. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gaunt. Gaunt of the fabrication.
I worked alongside Gaunt for years. There's no truth to his blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana!
If this is true, then that means Chief Gaunt has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her! She sacrificed herself because of me!
But what if she's telling the truth?
She's not! I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. How many years exactly?
Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then. So that would be 5 years.
Detective Gaunt and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia.
Damon Gaunt was a respectable detective. That's why.
But think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And... did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiably self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him.
Lana!
So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago? When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body... oh, yeah, I don't need to read this again. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. Broken... What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Doc? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Doc was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies.
All just to protect me.
So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Doc's knife. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that?
You, of all people, should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. But why did you do that?
Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out.
Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right?
Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body.
So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound?
Yes, because I hated Dark for what he did.
So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer?
How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period.
Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence?
She's lying! She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened! In any case, as the prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright! My sister's lying!
Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself.
There's no way she could have done it alone!
I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. I worked as a house psychologist for years, there's no truth to this one. Sort of, yeah, but I got scolded for looking up some help earlier. Ask Ashi about that. Anyway, welcome to the stream, Soup. How you doing tonight? Anyway, to catch you up, we had Gaunt on the witness stand because I suspected him of actually being the murderer of Detective Goodman. But I wasn't able to prove it, so he left, using his right to refuse to testify, and now we have Lana on the stand to confess against him, but so far we haven't had any luck getting her to do that. To speak up against him. My only conviction was Let's try this. Okay, it wasn't that, or at least not on that statement. Have you checked every option? What do you mean, every option? My only motivation was to get Dark convicted and to do with Emma. I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in. You planted the... Oh, okay. Okay, I already read this one. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gaunt's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason this guy moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plant. What? Pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Uh-huh. Neil Marshall is dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there is more to it than that.
There must be a contradiction here somewhere.
Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone.
Yeah, I meant to... I didn't mean to do that. I meant to go look through the rest of the... Let's see, there's no truth. Fabricate the evidence to... Okay, the piece of the jar that shattered.
Hold it!
Jar, you mean... Yes, that wretched... Okay. Broken deer and there's... Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that. What plan? The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Broke off the tip of... The jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Okay, no. I assume that still comes to play. What is it, Soup? Why not study the jar? Well, I did. I don't know what else I was supposed to do without it, though. Yeah, I know part of... Let's see, part of it's broken off. Wait a minute. Pieces of the jar... I've already looked over it several times. I don't know what else there is.
Huh? This thing doesn't have a bottom!
That's weird.
I wonder which side is up.
Better yet, what's the purpose of a bottomless jar?
At least it doesn't collect dust inside, right? Hey, look here. It's hard to make out, but there's a dark red stain here.
Looks like blood. This piece the chief has is different.
This piece the chief has is different, though. The blood stains on the other pieces are just spots. But this one's a line.
That is odd. Yeah, I've already checked that. Hang on a minute. Nope, can't check that. Well, I don't know what else I'm supposed to study then. Think about why the jar is the way it is. I don't know.
Objection!
Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Ah! He couldn't have written him his name on a shattered jar! Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time.
She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Sharon. So the jar was already broken? It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case, but not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No, if I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case.
Lana, you'd do that for me?
It seems you two might make up yet.
Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was.
If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry.
I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came.
This is rather shocking. And I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have
done in that situation? Lana! I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces.
But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office.
A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece.
So you illegally rearranged the crime scene?
Yes. I don't have any excuse for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time.
It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office.
More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony.
Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I've finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around.
Everything else. It was dark in the room and I did not.
What about the missing handle? Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Why? Wait a minute. What's a good question? What did I just ask? Sorry, I'm thinking a lot. Did she find them all? Oh, right. Because I'm thinking about this. The missing handle. Okay, let me look at that back up. Fragments are large, so I'm sure I got them all. Okay, let's see here.
Objection!
Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals the truth even you were unaware of.
What?
We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gaunt's safe.
In the chief's safe? But how?
I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gaunt got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha, can you believe that? Yeah, can we... Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jaw was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jaw. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying that person was Chief Gaunt. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? Yep. This is where this is where him using his right to refuse to testify will bite him in the ass. I bet. No! No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Demon Gaunt arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jaw and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gaunt do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. The judge thinking he's going to jail for a second. Yeah. Determined to help his sister, she sought Gaunt's aid. Lending her his aid, Gaunt helped her create evidence that incriminated Doc, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the chief's puppet. Ouch! Dang, girl! Don't do that! No, I did it on my own.
Please, Seth, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake.
No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone.
Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients.
Oh, this is rich. Seeing as people are saying the same thing about you guys, the prosecutors. Anyway, foul lies. Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist the truth. Excuse me! Wait a minute. What if... we're still smack dab in the middle of Gaunt's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, Wright?
So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright?
Miss Skye, please testify once more. So that's what looking a gift horse in the mouth looks like. Yep. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie.
But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall.
Miss Skye, if you will.
I can't.
There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. There we go! Finally! Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Yep, I think the judge is getting sick of this case too. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on a floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gaunt help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma may be innocent! Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor sword? You are the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't... It's in the book. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. It's in the book, isn't it? Well, okay, I can't find it right now, but I bet that's where it is. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that.
Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana.
Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right?
I seem to remember getting something from her then.
Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere.
The book is important for the rest of the trial, yep. Hey, there's a picture here.
Oh my! This is the actual crime scene! No other detective saw the crime scene like this.
Because oh, sorry, that was Lana's voice I was supposed to be doing. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had arranged everything. Lana's picture inserted in the court record. Crime scene photo from the case 2 years ago. Taken.
Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest. Could that be...
The cloth we found inside the Chief Gaunt's safe. Here we go. What's this? I knew it had to be from him.
This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer.
What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma.
Why are your lips turned all purple, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the... You son of a... When did you get back? Gosh dang it! Shouldn't we have locked him out or something? Ugh. Come on, Urgent. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gaunt. What, now you want to make me out as a bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. What is it with... What is... Aw, so what? You think I'm wood? Yeah, I do. Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean You still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Rado? Well, I've been keeping quiet about it. You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? Oh, juice. If I show that piece of evidence now, I'm sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? Gonna save again. Wrong button. Gonna save again. The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Oh gosh. Can you tell how sick of this guy I am now? I don't know why I'm hesitating since I saved beforehand, but I'd rather get this right on the first try. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I probably legally can't refuse to show the evidence, so here goes. Yes, Your Honor. I do have further evidence.
Alright, the time's finally come to show it to them. Those prints have got to be the Chief's.
Emma, now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. I just want to look at this real quick. Sure there's nothing. Nope, that's all that's in there. Here goes. It's a piece of leather cloth? Yes, it most likely was cut from the victim's vest, near his chest. What's this? There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword. What? Whose fingerprints are on this? I'm sure Ryder was checked, haven't you? Well, whose are they? They're Miss Skies. Miss Emma Skies.
What? They're mine? So I really did do it.
See, I told you it was conclusive. But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that? But give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Sky to Neil Marshall's death. No. It appears we have our killer. No! 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 That's not what's... Everything hinged on that point. In the end. Oh, come on! Gosh dang it, I guess I... Ugh! What the hell? Fine, I saved right before that, so... Oh gosh. So I wanna show. Well, let's try this, I guess. Like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but oh boy. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Chief Gaunt. You opened my safe! I know you took what was inside. Oh, wow. Okay. I was not expecting this. He just dug his own grave here. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you will present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gaunt? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like it's part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Wright. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? Oh, bloody hell. I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her?
I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with the sister, that's when she saw the scene. When she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had to plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Doc convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. They like to do final case traps like that. Okay, I'll try to remember that for the next one. 2 pieces of evidence. You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance. I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jaw fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. The second game's trap is the hardest in the trilogy, okay? I don't know if I'll remember that by the time. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too? Ho ho ho. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Rido, cough it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you admit to it then, Chief Gaunt, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Rido. You should have shown it then, before it was too late. It's been a long battle. but the moment of truth has finally arrived. If Danganronpa has taught me anything, it's death messages and blood don't mean squat. Yeah, I agree. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Okay, gonna save again now that I've come this far. Hopefully I don't regret that. Well, this time let's show it, because last time he acted like he didn't know what I was talking about. But this time he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Wait a minute! Nuh-uh. I mean, I don't think this has anything to do with what I have to prove currently, but... I just know something off here. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to show that yet. But I did notice something. Anyway, here we go. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh yes, at last you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean... It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho ho ho. You're slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Wright had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already knew? No. You know whose fingerprints are on that?
Mr. Wright, do you really know?
Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... Alright, here goes nothing.
Take that!
Emma? Emma Sky?
What? They're mine?
I'm sorry, Emma.
But why? Why didn't you tell me?
Oh ho ho ho! You're really something, Rido. You knew this girl did all along, and you still tried to pin the mud on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death.
How could you? You monster!
Miss Sky.
You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't.
Miss Sky, it's not over yet.
What?
I said this trial isn't over yet. Oh, but I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gaunt, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Skye, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. Here we go! Here we go! What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. But Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Chief Gaunt, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Here we go, here we go, here we go. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Skye took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? What underneath? It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Moving on! Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth! Wait, there's no blood on it! Ah! Since Emma Skye's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gaunt, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Skye, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on a jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you prove that you were the actual murderer! No! It's finally all over. Oh, come on! You're gonna do this now? Nuh-uh. Oh, that was close, Rado. You almost had me. Right, and Gumshoe. Surprised Pikachu face? Sorry, but you're not too bad than that. I refute your allegations and why you look so nervous. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. I am so done with this guy! Order! Order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Urgy? Earlier, old Rido here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Rido? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
But that's not fair!
Did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm not so sure about that. I'm afraid Mr. Gaunt's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems, at last, the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? Just a moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? I'm gonna save first again. Sorry to keep doing that, but I think Ashi would prefer that to the alternative. Let's see, that you purposely and illegal concealed... I did. No. Oh. Seems Mr. Wright didn't understand the implication of his conduct. If you're going to change your position, this is your only chance, Mr. Wright. He's right. I admit I refused to present it at one point. Aha! So the evidence is illegal. Okay, no it isn't, Mr. Gaunt. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, just don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe. There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well. Let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. And that's where this comes in. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying I did not have approval from the police department. Phoenix's evidence is a pre-1L textbook. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just look one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall when was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No! He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Demon Gaunt. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh, yes! No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Oh. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who that could be. Demon Gaunt! The killer was you! Thanks, Soup. Letting you know now, this will probably be the last night I host Phoenix Wright, I stream Phoenix Wright for a little while. Reason for that being, tomorrow night I will be... First of all, tomorrow night I'll be playing, gosh, what was the name of that game again? Caravan Stories. Sorry. And then, that leaves only one day before Tuesday when Persona 5 Strikers comes out. So I really don't want to be stuck in a case on this game on Tuesday so that I can start playing Persona 5 Strikers. So now it's not me saying I won't play the rest of Phoenix Wright Trilogy on this stream. It just won't be. It'll just probably be after I finish Persona 5 Strikers. Anyway, I don't know if you heard that, but if you did, thanks for tuning in either way, and I'll see you tomorrow. Demon Gaunt, the killer was you! Humph. Whoa! Okay, I'm not doing all that. Wow. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Star, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Dude, you're just digging your grave ever deeper. Yeah, that's right. If the evidence transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There's too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking out the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, But I never thought it'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worried so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car? I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside. How? How could you get Miss Skye involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah. It looked like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. Do you think? They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Werther, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Urge? Well, what? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Demon Gaunt. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Urge. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Wright here. And Werther. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. Yeah, get out of here. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Demon Gaunt betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Skye, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gaunt help me forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. Finally. I'm sorry, Miss Skye. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows, a few years from now, you just might make it to the top. Aww! I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Skye. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth.
You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you.
Humph! It was nothing. Yeah, sure, Mr. Tsundere Edgeworth. Whatever. Liar.
I was worried the pressure might break you, and yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth.
So stop it! I only did my job! In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Skye.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains.
Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. And that's the truth. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, not guilty. Finally! Gosh dang it! Hallelujah! That is all. This court is adjourned.
February 25th, 5:03 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
At long last, it's finally over. Emma! Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit.
No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me.
Yeah, I thought that's where she was going. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Way to spoil the moment. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Are we really doing this again? Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while I'm doing it? And top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding.
Oh, are you here because of my sister again?
Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone.
Lana!
Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't.
Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago. Huh? Was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis? I asked God to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself. But I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you're only doing it for me.
No.
Huh?
I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you.
Sis.
I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry.
But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now.
You're happy?
Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have.
Oh, Emma. Oh, Emma, Emma! Aww. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Where is he hiding? I just came to say, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Right, well, I'll be going now.
Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you.
It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes.
Mr. Edgeworth!
Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gaunt was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gaunt did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor.
Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gaunt and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, pop quiz?
Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about.
Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. Something that we never...
Take that!
That's the picture I drew!
Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go.
Mr. Edgeworth?
If you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. I think you'll be okay now. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know, it seems I owe you my thanks too, Mr. Wright. But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I'd better be going too.
Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon.
It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you.
Scientific investigation?
It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well.
Thanks, sis! I will!
And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Again, way to ruin the moment. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this.
But...
I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh?
Way to go, detective! I didn't know you had a wild side.
Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here is the one who'll be footing the bill. Gosh dang it, Gumshoe! You know what? I'm still willing to label him guilty now, Ashi. Whatever. Huh? Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? Huh? Huh?
Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best.
Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Okay. Alright, now we finally really reached the end of this game. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. Oh, Lord. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though! Today, someday, I'm going to be a big detective! Yes, sir! Then I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe! Not sure that's a good thing, but okay. Hi there, Blue Badger. How you doing? How you holding up? Not very well, apparently. Guess I'm going to fix that. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. Just saying one of the gods, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back a smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Okay, so that was the cactus. Got it. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the Right Way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to like the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller about exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Sure, why not? Anyway, he said he's been doing her something or other for, how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel! Sorry, gotta go. Oh gosh. Translation bond.
Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium.
Mystic Maya, afternoon train's about to begin.
Coming! Well, see you around, Nick.
Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. What's going on? He said you're fired, I think. Probably not, but...
Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book.
Let me guess, she put a picture of herself in there? Yep. Oh, baby Emma. She's so cute. Okay. Okay, got the trophy Rise from the Ashes. For clearing episode 5 of Ace Attorney. So just give me a moment. Been a long time since I had to post a trophy. Saving content. Alright. Okay. Let me check something real quick. Okay. So yeah, we finished Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. And that was a lot of fun. I know I complained a lot about this last case, but overall I enjoyed the game, and even the outcome of this case made it all worth it. So, as I said earlier, this will be the last night I stream Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney for a little while, because I will be playing Caravan Stories on tomorrow night's stream, and then I don't know what I'm going to do on Monday yet, but I don't want to get caught in the middle of a case on this on Tuesday, because that's when Persona 5 Strikers will be released, so I would like to start playing that. So we'll see what I end up doing on Monday. I'll have to think about it. I have the whole weekend too. So we'll see then. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's stream. I should be back late tonight for a late night stream to continue playing Trails of Cold Steel 2 with Rio Maverick. So I hope you'll be around for that. If not, I will see you tomorrow when I play Caravan Stories. So I hope you all enjoyed tonight's stream, and if you'll stick around, I'm going to be dropping a host. Let's see who I'll host tonight. Let's host Seraph of Evil tonight, who's playing Yakuza 6. And again, if I don't see you tonight, I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time. Feel free to follow my YouTube channel link below, where I upload all of my past live streams. And you can also follow my Twitter to be alerted when I go live. So, again, I hope you all enjoyed tonight's stream, and I hope you all have a great night. Take care, everyone. Bye.